Hello everyone, welcome to a new week. I am here today. First, before we actually get into what we're creating today, I do want to go ahead and just let you know that today is the day that my next class is releasing on Big Picture Classes. It is my DIY scrap time, like session 2 basically. So you are making a DIY kit with me from your stash using lots of scrap products and scrap papers, and then I'm walking you through a variety of different projects and showing you how I use those scraps, and then at the end I'm kind of giving you a little bit of a wrap up and kind of some tips for organization and storage as well as going forward. Now this is my second DIY scrap kit class with Big Picture Classes. I already have the first one on there, so if you have not already seen it, please go check it out, especially if you're already a Big Picture Classes subscriber. Basically, it's $10 a month. I think it's $9.99 a month, and you have access to all of the classes that they have on their platform, and there are hundreds of wonderful classes of all different topics too. So I would highly recommend it if you are into taking classes, or maybe you're in a rut and you need to need a little bit of help of getting out of your rut. I would really suggest going to look at Big Picture Classes. You can sign up and unsubscribe at any point in time. It's just a monthly subscription basically, so you pay for your month and you have access to all of the classes basically the whole month. So again, Big Picture Classes, my second class is releasing today. It's under the teacher list. If you look for Melody Rayner, that is my name, and it'll be designed by Melody. But it's listed by teacher name, so look for Melody Rayner, and you will see my 2 classes there. So, okay, now into what we're actually creating today. So today we are making a pocket layout using my May 2020 Feed Your Craft kit. This is the tourist mode kit. This is a kit that I have shared for my 2020 kit review series. I went through everything that came in the kit. Now I've already created with this kit, but I wanted to go ahead and create another page. So I pulled out some pictures that I have from my picture collection, and I pulled out an LA Studio card. I always put this, well, I didn't purchase these for 2020, but for the years that I've purchased these, I've always used these calendar cards kind of as my title card in my pocket pages. So I've got the June 2018 card already pulled out, and I've got this kit. So it's got a variety of cards, stamps, alpha stickers, and die cuts. So let me get the photos and the cards laid out and we'll kind of go from there. This is just a 1-page pocket spread, but I'm really loving the colors from this kit, and I have tons of cards left, as you can see, so I have lots to work with. So let me get this laid out and then we'll get into the creative process. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and apologize from the get-go if you hear any squealing or screaming in the background. My house has just become crazy constantly. I think now with kids doing virtual school from home, it's just never quiet in my house ever. So ignore any squealing or running or Nerf gun battles that you might hear in the background. It's just life right now. And my scrapping and my memory keeping is my happy place. So I'm just going to continue to do what I do and pretend like the chaos does not exist, and that I don't feel like there are 1,018 things going on at one time, and that I don't have a to-do list a mile long. So I hope you guys are also finding a little bit of peace in this crazy time and are getting a chance to maybe do a little bit of crafting as well. As you can see, as I'm flipping through this kit, I kind of already have my photos and my cards laid out. I kind of had an idea of what I wanted when I started flipping through the cards, when I was trying to find a kit to pair with these photos. But as I was kind of going through, I am going to change one card a little bit later. I'm not going to tell you what that is. I'm just going to kind of let you watch the process and see it kind of creatively come together. But I really looked at the cards. I looked at different things that I could kind of trim out and use as different decorative elements. I'm going through the die cuts now. I'm laying things out potentially where they may end up being. I am laying a lot out, and I'll probably take about half of the things off that you see me lay out before they actually get adhered down. This is a travel kit. This is the May 2020 kit from Feed Your Craft. It's called Tourist Mode. As you can see, there's lots of travel themes. There's lots of luggage tags. There's lots of words such as getaway or adventure. But I actually felt like it worked really well with these photos. And these photos are all from our house. The first top right photo is of the kids kind of running in the sprinkler. The photo on the left is of Kaylin on the porch with me. He was watching his iPad as I was reading a book. The other 3x4 pocket in the center with the photo just has a picture of him, and the bottom right photo are the same basic picture of him and I walking our neighbor's dog. We were just dog sitting that day, and so or that week rather, and so we were walking the dog. He's actually in his pajamas, which is kind of funny, but I didn't realize that till just now. I didn't even document that part of it, but it is kind of funny. And then the bottom picture is of just Kaylin and I doing a little bit of baking at the house. So these are all photos of just our house. And even though this is a travel themed kit, I really found that there were a lot of sentiments and elements in this kit that work really well with just doing fun things. I know you guys can hear that. There is an argument going on about some game that they're playing in Kaylin's room, which is kind of across the hallway. And even though we both have our doors shut, I can hear the argument, so I'm sure you can hear it as well. So I apologize. It is just crazy in my house all the time. And by the way, when I do mention kids, so I have an 18-year-old, and I also have Kaylin, who is our 9-year-old. The 18-year-old actually lives with his mother. He doesn't live with us in our house, but he is here periodically. And then the girl that you see a lot of times in photos and in my layouts is actually a neighbor, and she is Kaylin's best friend. So I basically call her my child as well. She's the one he's arguing with currently about some game. Her name's Leilani, and she is in our house all the time. She lives like 2 houses down across the street. And like I said, she's at our house all the time. She's basically my child, my other child. So when I do reference kids, I know sometimes that confuses people because technically I only have one child that lives in our house with us. So when I say kids, I'm usually referencing Kaylin and Lonnie because she is at our house a lot. She is usually away for the summers, but during the school year, which is, most of the time, the majority of the year, she's at our house probably every other day, if not every day. Her and Kaylin are best buds. They have these plans. I need to document this in my memory keeping. I'm totally getting sidetracked, by the way, but I need to document this in my memory keeping somewhere. They have this plan. They're both 9. They're only 2 months apart in age. And they have this plan that she's going to be a UFC fighter and he is going to be either an NBA basketball player or an NFL football player. He can't decide which. But they are going to be best friends, and they're going to get a mansion together and have lots of land. And she's going to live in one wing of the house with her husband, and he's going to live in another wing of the house with his wife. And they're going to be best friends forever. So I think that's really incredibly cute, and I really do need to get that story documented down in my memory keeping because I don't know how long this will be their plan, but it's really kind of cute to hear their plan now. They're both in, they just started 4th grade. Actually, Kaylin started 2 weeks ago. They go to different schools, and she started today. So we have some new 4th graders in the house. So anyways, back to the scrapbooking here and what I'm actually doing. I have mentioned this in a couple layouts ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm really trying to make a much more conscious effort of doing more stamping. And since this kit included a stamp set, I did a bunch of stamping actually. I have stamped an arrow kind of on that calendar card. That is an LA Studio calendar card. I used to actually purchase the packs of calendar cards, and I am going to link the 2020 set in the description here on YouTube, as well as the blog post. Sorry, I lost my words there for a second. Because the 2020 calendar card set is actually on sale or on clearance in her shop. I think it's like $1.75 for the entire 12 cards for the whole year of 2020. So if you like these cards, go grab them. They're 3x4, but I always, like 90% of the time, put them on a 4x6 card as my title card and kind of document either the month or the week that I am actually scrapbooking. I'll go back and forth as to what I'm doing, but it works for either. So here I actually put the date on that Walk Explore Wonder card, and then I stamped the date on there, and then I notated the date with the little arrow stamp on that June 2018 LA Studio card. So I do stamping there. I also am going to have a stamping fail and try to stamp on the photo. I don't have stays on ink, which would really be helpful. So I just try stamping with my paper tray ink, dye ink, and it obviously is not going to work. It's going to kind of bubble up and smear. So I ended up just stamping on a little bit of white cardstock and gluing right over where I had the stamping on the photo. I am going to do some stamping, kind of this right here where it says eat well. It actually says, what does the stamp set say? It went too quickly. I can't remember, but it says eat well something, and then it has the little arrow. So I just took out the middle line because it wasn't applicable to this photo. It's just of Kaylin making some cookies. They're like Oreo cookies or something. And so I just kind of inked up the top line and then inked up the arrow and then put it on a little bit of scrap paper and trimmed it out. And I just found a scrap piece of paper in my little scrap bin, which is totally overflowing, that sits right next to my desk. Luckily, there was a color, it's a pattern paper. It's kind of a marbly color. There was a color that coordinated with this kit pretty close to the top of the pile of papers, which I was really happy for. So I didn't have to dig too long. It was just within reach. And I am just stamping on there. I also stamped that captured little tab looking stamp at the top. And then I stamped memories, which was a separate stamp in the stamp set. And I used just a pink ink to kind of coordinate with the pink that's kind of around the page. And I think that's all the stamping I did. So, oh, and then my date, of course, that I use my roller date stamp for. I think that's pretty much all the stamping that I did. I'm just trying to make more of a conscious effort to include stamping. I really like the look of stamping. And I like just the variation that it brings. This is my stamping fail, by the way. I like the variation that it kind of brings to your page without having to add a lot of bulk. So I'm just trying to be a little bit more aware of that and kind of add it as I can. Oh, it actually looks really nice here till you look closely, and it looks really, really bad. So we're going to, I had to like stamp it a couple times because I wasn't getting a good impression on the white cardstock, and then I'm just going to trim it out. I'm just kind of like dabbing up some of that ink that is obviously not soaking into the photo paper because this is glossy photo paper. I don't know why I thought that was going to work, but I thought, hey, what the heck? I'll try it. Yeah, right. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. This little sticker sheet that you see me using, there are very few stickers left on here, but this is a super old Reset Girl, like Elements sticker sheet that she had in her kits at one point. And I purchased it when I was doing my 2018 kit review series, and I loved all the little elements. There were little like plus signs, there were hexagons, and there were arrows, and I think there were hearts as well on this little sticker sheet. And so there probably were 100 stickers on this one little sticker sheet, and so I've just kind of been using them over time, and a lot of the same colors from these papers, especially having that kind of rainbow stripe card at the top left, were on these little hexagon colors. So I'm kind of spreading those around the page just to kind of give, just a good spread of disbursement of color across the page, especially since I changed that one card out to be that black card that says, "For the record, this adventure was everything I hoped for and more. So glad to be here." This is pretty much going to finish out this layout. I am going to jump back on here in just a second and kind of give you an overview of the things I've used once I kind of get my stamps kind of put back up. And then after that, you are going to see some still photos of this layout, as well as just a glimpse of the kit as a whole. Thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, and that is it for this page. So I have used two different dye inks here from Paper Tray Ink, and this is the Hibiscus Burst that I did that pink stamping in, and then Smoky Shadow. I always stamp in black or gray, so I'm really trying to kind of branch out a little bit. So that's my effort to branch out. I actually used a lot of stamping. I've been trying to make a more conscious effort about using stamping as I go along. I used a couple different scrap things that I have sitting on my desk. I had some of this like kind of marbly looking paper that I stamped a couple different things on. Also have this really old Reset Girl sticker sheet, and I love these. They just had lots of little elements on them. I'm just left with a couple of the hexagons, but I kind of sprinkled those around. Used a few of these hearts, and then from this mini sticker tablet from Carpe Diem, I also used a couple of the different stars and hearts as well. And then the other stamp I pulled in was the anniversary stamp, roller date stamp, and I think this is from Smash. But other than that, I pretty much just stuck to the kit. The kit only has some alphas, die cuts, and cards. So everything in the stamp set, of course. And so I just pulled in a couple different things from my stash to finish this out. But that finishes it for today. I hope you enjoyed. And make sure you go check out my class on Big Picture Classes. Again, it releases today, August 17th. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Bye.